Hello students of class 5. The other day we had started this chapter Our Heritage, and we had seen what is heritage and what are the types of heritage. What is it that comes under the category of natural heritage, and what is it that comes under cultural heritage. So we had learned about the monuments, different monuments, that is the buildings, heritage sites, also the places of worship. Now, then we had spoken about the dance, the categories of dance. In the same way, we have music. Under music also, we have the classical music and the folk music. Under this classical music, we have the Hindustani and the Carnatic music. Now, Hindustani music developed in the north and Carnatic music developed in the south. And we also find the mention of the different kinds of instruments that is used for classical music. That is, you have the sitar, the tabla, the mridangam, then you have the jaltarang, santoor, flute, shehnai, all these things. Also, apart from just like we had in dances two types, classical and folk, in the music also we have the same way, classical and folk, and this classical is again divided into two. Now, for the folk music, just like dance, it is also performed by a group of singers on special occasions like birth of a child, harvest festival, social gatherings, then weddings, in all these occasions, festivals. Some of the folk music, that they are qawwalis. Then you have the ghazals, the patriotic songs, the bhajans. All these come under the category of folk music. Bhajans is generally sung for religious purposes. Okay. Also, you can sing a bhajan in that way, but generally, okay. Qawwalis or ghazals, it's all for social occasions and functions and all. You get to hear them. Now, what happens is that next comes paintings. Now, painting started as early as from the early human beings. Okay, from the early man who drew different things on the caves, like the hunting scenes, and then you have the animals, all these things. Then you have the Ajanta and Ellora paintings, which depict the life of Buddha. And another thing is that Mughal miniature paintings. What do these have? Mughal miniature painting. Mughal miniature painting, they Mughal miniature painting have different themes, and starting from hunting scenes to court scenes, scenes from Ramayana and Mahabharata, battle scenes, then what else? Battle scenes, then beautiful landscapes. All these things are there in Mughal miniature paintings. So under paintings also we have different things. First is the painting of early human, early man. Then we have the Ajanta and Ellora and Mughal miniature paintings. Now, next comes the folk paintings, and among the folk paintings, some famous names are Worli paintings of Mumbai, Tanjore paintings of Tamil Nadu, then Fath paintings of Rajasthan, and Madhubani paintings of Bihar. And for these also the most common themes are that of, you know, the hunting scenes, then court scenes, scenes from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Then you have beautiful, you know, flowers, then landscapes, you know, animals and flowers in vibrant colors, Hindu gods and goddesses. All these are seen in these paintings. After paintings, we come to literature. Literature also we have there are two kinds. One is religious and another is non-religious. Now what comes under religious painting? Religious literature. Religious literature, we have all our religious books, that is the Ramayana, the two epics, the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Then we have the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, then Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, then we have the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, yes, we have the Vedas. All these come under religious paintings. And non-religious paintings, we have the stories, dramas, folk tales, poems, etc. Next come oral tradition. What is oral tradition? Oral, the very word suggests that there is no written account. And some of the examples, that is, it is handed down, means it has been passed down from one generation to the other by word of mouth. Some of the examples are that of grandma stories, okay, folk tales, which actually had no written account before. Maybe recently we get written accounts, but before that we didn't have any. Then we have the languages. Each state in our country has a language, and there are as many as 29 states in our country. Then we have the food. Even our food differs from, like coastal areas, they eat fish and rice, but north you have the rajma chawal, then all the Mughlai food. Then south you have idli dosa, sambar chutney. All these things are there for South Indian food. Then we have the clothes, even the way we dress. Sari is the traditional dress of women in India, but many women wear salwar kameez, and also shirts and trousers are also worn by both men and women. So even in clothes we find clothes and jewelry also. Not only women but men also sometimes wear jewelry. Then we have the different craft work, and among craft work we have stitching, like the chikankari of Lucknow, then the block paintings of Rajasthan, also the badni of Rajasthan. Then we have the kantha stitch of West Bengal, then terracotta of West Bengal is there, then the beeri making, puppetry of Rajasthan. All these form a part of our heritage, and it is our duty to preserve it well, so that the future generation can also enjoy its benefits. Another thing is, the last is the sports, and some of the sports have their origin in India, like kho-kho, kabaddi, chess, polo. All these have their origin in India. So with this we come to the end of this chapter, and we find that we have a very rich heritage and we must be very proud of it. And as I said before, that we must make every effort to preserve our heritage so that the benefits of it can be enjoyed by the future generation. So that's all for today. Thank you. Best of luck.